speaking, Fred?
Bakewell.
Who?
Bakewell.
Bakewell?
Yeah, George Bakewell.
George Bakewell. Well, Mr. Bakewell, can you give me a talk today?
Do you what?
Give me a talk. Tell me all about yourself.
Oh, but
Yes, come along.
I've been in there about 30, 40 odd years, must be getting on that way. 1921, when I came over, how many years ago is that? I don't know, time was so funny.
40 odd years.
Hey,
How did you pass over, Mr. Bakewell?
died.
We know that, yes, we know that one. But, how did you find yourself after you passed over? What?
I was ill for some few weeks.
Yes.
Some problems or trouble. Developed into pneumonia.
Yes.
I worked in a brewery for about 40 odd years.
Were you?
Yeah.
And
I used to go around sometimes, with a dray.
yes.
Hello.
Yeah, I want very well, thank you. Mr. Bakewell, when you
The
passed...
thing was, and all them years I worked in a brewery, I never touched a drop.
Did you?
You're not a drinker, are you?
No.
No, that Mr. Man Woods.
No.
I've been once or twice these there dudes when you've been coming here to talk to people, and I said to myself, I think one of these days I'll have a chance to have a word with them.
Yes.
Yeah, I just died natural, like, I suppose you call it.
Well, what happened, when...
I had this pneumonia city. Liz, she would nurse me as my wife. She nursed me. Of course, I'm going back a bit those days. She didn't get the attention I suppose you get nowadays. They haven't got the medical profession like you got now.
Yeah.
She did her best, poor old girl.
Well, how did you find yourself, Mr. Bakewell? What happened after?
Oh, blimey, I don't know. Funny how it feel altogether. As far as I was concerned, first thing I knew was I was sort of floating around the room. I thought, well, I don't know, thought I was going potty or something. I felt a bit delirious and heavy, to keep it alive. But I remember seeing myself lying on that bed. And Mrs. was there, and the boy was there. And there was somebody else. I didn't know who that was. Must have been a neighbour, I think. Didn't recognise her. Old Pole used to come in a lot, when I was sick, when the wife had to go out because she had to come do work, and it was funny. She was the case, old Pole was. She's over here now. Old Pole was our neighbour,
Yes, I heard that.
Oh, did you? Oh, yes, I tell you about I felt like a kid. I could see myself lying there, and my wife was sitting there holding my hand, and other people was there. I can't remember all of them. Some of my boy was there, of course. But, of course, he was never much, I shouldn't say much good. I don't fair to say that now.
Well, what happened after that when you got downstairs, Mr. Bakewell?
Hey?
What happened when you got downstairs?
Oh, I heard him nattering away about one thing or the other, about insurance policies and God knows what else, and about the funeral and whether I should be buried with the old lady or what, Anyway, I remember the funeral very well. It was a nice old day, I tell you. They seemed to pick the right day for my funeral. He came down in Torrance, oh, dear. I think they were glad it was over. I was anyway. I went with them in the carriage. Of course, we had horses in those days, And I sat there, and it made me laugh. They just thought they were following me, and I was riding with them. You might say, well, they didn't know I was there. Once or twice, I think they said that, they felt it was a bit chilly, and of course the weather and all that, so they thought it was that, and I don't know whether they thought it was, well, they couldn't have thought it was me, but that's a funny thing when you're dead, people don't know how real things can be, and how much more sensitive in the way you are. It's as if for the first time you're hearing properly, and in a sense, in the way you're seeing properly too, because you're seeing everything, not just what is there in front of you, but you're sort of seeing into people. Oh, I learned a few things about my family I never knew. In most thoughts,
Well, after the funeral, what happened to you then?
Oh, well, the old lady, she'd been around, She'd been dead some few years, but she kept coming to me, and she said, "You're not staying here, are you?" So I said, "Well, I'm staying here. Where am I going then?" Oh, she should come with me. So I didn't seem to be much point in staying. Nobody took time for the notice of me. I mean, they all seemed to be enjoying themselves after the funeral. They was having a real old beano. Then they all hucked and went out to the apartment. That didn't interest me very much. And Mother says, you might just come away, you don't stay here. So I said, well, I don't make it a tale. And she says, you will, you'll be all right, boy, you know. She says, come on. She says, so I said, it was all very well. She said, come on. I said, where are we going? She says, we're going away from all this. So I said, oh, well, you know, I just couldn't cut on at all. Anyway, she says, close your eyes. And the funny thing was, although I could see my mother and converse with her, and she looked as she was all many years back when I was a nipper, I could feel other people there, but I couldn't see them. And I said to her once, I said, I don't know, I have a very strong sort of feeling there's several people, and I don't see them. She says, you will eventually. She says, but just you relax yourself and don't worry and fret yourself like you know. And anyway, I said, well, why don't you want me to do that? I do. I closed my eyes, and the next thing I knew is as if I lost consciousness, you know. It's most peculiar. And I woke up and found myself lying on a couch, I suppose it was, a sort of sofa, you know. As a matter of fact, when I sort of came to and looked round, it was, well, almost as if I was back when I was a boy. My mother had a nice little place, a little cottage place, you know, and of course this was when we were children. We lived in the country, you know. But my father brought us all up to London. He got us a job, you know, in London, and we all moved. But I always remember the childhood days in the country, and this was just like my mother's old place that she'd had when I was a little nipper.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I said, oh, this is familiar. She says, ain't it? She says, it's like that nice little place we always had when you were a little boy, and you used to love it so much in the countryside. She says, well, it's just the same, because I never liked living in London. She said, but it was your father, of course, he got a good job. We'd have been foolish not to take him, but I always hated living in the country, because she was real country born and bred, was my mum, you know. Anyway, she says, this is it. She says, that's what I always craved for when I was in London, to be back in my little country places. And she says, it's just simple like it. And it certainly was very like. I said, well, it's funny, have you got a place like this? And she says, well, I was always in my mind, and I always wanted it. And in some strange way, it's, well, perhaps I hope to like to think, she says, I deserved it. But she says, I did my best, you know, boy. I said, like that. She thought the world of us children. She wasn't like some of them, you know. She devoted herself to the family, you know.
And what are you doing now, Mr. Bateman?
Oh, well, I know this sounds almost stupid, because I'm not an educated man. I wasn't exactly England. I could read and write, which is more my mother could. She couldn't read and write a word, you know. She never had no proper schooling when she was a little girl. She used to have to be up early in the morning. She used to go out into the fields, you know, picking, stone picking even when she was quite a baby. Well, her mother used to take her out when she was quite a baby. Of course, things have changed. And said, oh, me, I teach the youngsters. I don't mean babies exactly, but you get young lads come over here, nippers, you know, and I'm very fond of children, always was, and I'm able to help them, not teach them the normal lessons like you have at school, not reading, writing, arithmetic, all that out, you know, but about life, about nature, about countryside, and all the things I've learned which have to do with character and building, you know, making something of yourself as a person, you know, and giving them an insight into, well, how to live their lives and how to appreciate the things that really matter, and help them to get rid of their old ideas and discard lots of things that hold them back. You get people come over here and they carry over all sorts of thoughts and ideas and opinions, and all these things are really a barrier to that progress, you know.
Mr. Bakewell, how do you find what the children are like when they come over? Are their minds more or less fairly open, or what?
Well, I think generally speaking, with youngsters, I think their minds are more plastic. They're not so firm and so fixed as adults are. Some of the worst people to deal with, of course, are those who've got very strong fixed views, which, of course, people do have. in their adult life. But the youngsters are more plastic, more pliable. You can talk to them and they can understand more easily, and they can soon get rid of any strong ideas that have been instilled into them that perhaps their parents or teachers had, which quite frankly were not really any help to them. Often there were barriers.
Have you a school you go to then and teach?
Oh yes, there's like a vast dormitory here, you see, and there's a vast building. Well, I'm talking about the place I'm working in, a vast building which you could call a sort of college, where youngsters congregate, they play games, they have their lessons, and then of course there are those who teach in other ways, in other things, but I like to be with the young people and I like to play the games. I mean, I'm like a game of football and all that sort of thing, and the boys like it, they enjoy it, and we can talk and we go for walks into the countryside. You know, people don't realise it, that this is a very real world. This isn't a wishy-washy, how do you know? We have many other things that you associate with your world. Music, festivals we have, lectures we have. We even have theatres, or what you would term theatres, where plays are put on by great actors and actresses, but they're always doing things which, although they're very entertaining, sometimes even amusing, we have a good laugh, there's some sense behind it, there's a purpose, there's a moral. You know, nothing is done just in a frivolous sense. Everything has a purpose and a meaning, but it's very important, because sometimes you get souls who are in need of instruction, and it's sometimes a good idea to show them, as it were, almost themselves as they was, you know, give them an insight into their own character and their own nature, perhaps pick out certain faults or deficiencies which perhaps they're not altogether been conscious of, and they can see themselves in sometimes these characters that are portrayed in the plays and things, you see. Oh, it's very interesting. I know this must sound stupid to some people, I suppose, and yet when you think what a lot of people believe about life after death and all that sort of luck, you know what some of those people believe, that what we say certainly is no more ridiculous, is it? No. I mean, you take some of the stupid nonsense that's talked about and preached and accepted by religious people. I mean, at least we do tell you what we know, and even though some people may not be able to accept it, it's certainly sense from the point of view that this is a world of reality, and we have many of the things which you actually have, you know, sort of accustom yourselves to on earth. We have many, many joys and pleasures and happinesses. It's not a miserable world. It's not a world where everybody goes around singing hymns and praising the Lord. It's not a stupid sort of religious textbook kind of world, you know. It's a world of reality in which people live normal, natural lives, and there's understanding and affection and love and appreciation, and you get together. You have parties, not quite in the same sense as you have parties, not from the point of view of drinking and all that nonsense, but get-togethers and discussions and talking about old times and old friends, and sometimes we all troop down together to earth to see how certain people are getting on, and if we can help them in any way, what we do. Of course, sometimes there's not much we can do, but we do everything we can to help. You know, not only the people we know either, we get very disturbed and unhappy about the state of the world, and when we realise there's need, then whole groups of souls return to earth to help. I mean, like the trouble you've got out in the east there. There's crowds of souls on this side who go to rescue and to help people who've been sent over suddenly through the war and that, you know.
Mr. Bakewell.
It's terrible, isn't it, this war?
Can you say when you come to earth, can you describe at all what you actually feel like when you come from your sphere and you come into the earth vibrations? What is the actual change you feel in yourself?
Well,
what I mean?
Well, it's very difficult to put that into words, because you see, it's like losing a state of consciousness to which you're accustomed, to which you're familiar, and becoming accustomed to another condition of life, that is your life on Earth, which really, in a sense, we haven't got very much in common with anymore. The chief attraction, of course, is coming back to someone that you know and love and who you are to some extent in tune with and harmony with, because of the close links you've had in the past, and you're drawn back by love, and therefore you discard temporarily anyway your own personal feelings in regard to your own environment which you just left. In other words, you are quite happy to enter into the earth world temporarily, like, just to be of some blessing and help. But of course we see your world in a very different light to what you do. We can enter into it and become very aware and very conscious of things that are going on, particularly with individuals that we're fond of. But it's very difficult to explain, because it's as if to us you are in a sort of mist or fog, if you like. It's not that we can't see you, but I'll tell you one thing I notice anyway. I don't see, personally, I don't speak for others, I don't see colour with you people, with the earth. Oh. Not in the same sense that I did when I was on earth. When I say I don't see colour, it doesn't mean to say that I'm not conscious of colour, or I'm not in a sense aware of colour. It's as if I see everything around and about in your world, and even with people I'm very fond of, as if it's in black and white, that's sort of negative, as it were, of the reality. Through the consciousness of individuals that I may be drawn to, for instance, or perhaps some particular place that interests me, through some sort of mental way, I don't know how to put this, I can be sort of conscious of colour without necessarily seeing it. Actually, of course, you see, there isn't such a thing, I'm told, scientifically, I mean, don't ask me, I don't know the answers, but I'm told scientifically there isn't any such thing as colour, really.
What it's made up of?
I don't know what it's made up of, but they tell me that colour is non-existent, really. Actually, if you get down to rock bottom, from what I can make out of it, in a sense, your world, although it's a reality to you, is an illusion to us. The same as, I suppose, when you people think about our world, you don't see it in a sense, unless you're very fortunate. It's sort of mental, sort of, I'll say apparition, but you sort of imagine so-and-so, and you construct so-and-so according to your thoughts and ideas. But our world is a reality. To us, your world isn't a real world in the same sense as it is to you. We know through your thoughts what's happening to you individually, what's happening to you as a nation or a group of people or family, you see. And it's through your thoughts that we are able to make some link or contact and perhaps have some service and some help. But many of the things that are happening to you are thought creations which man has brought into being to you in a physical sense, and you suffer from these things naturally because they are realities in a physical way. But you must remember that when we come to you, we are not really, in a sense, fully conscious of you in a physical sense. We're more conscious of you in a mental sense. And we receive inspiration, if you like, or thought impression through various ways, through various people. But it's never the same in a physical sense as it is to you. We realize that our thoughts can help you. They do help you. Sometimes more than perhaps you may even give credit for. But the point is, we never cease to try to help as best we can, you know. I mean, up against it, of course, quite a lot. A lot of things we don't seem to be able to do much about. But, of course, a lot depends on the people on earth. It's only when they start to think in a different channel or have the desire to think in a different way that we can help them to a good extent, you see.
So go back to the children, Mr. Bakewell. I've often wondered, when a child dies, suppose they have nobody on the other side of it, they know, like they've never known their grandparents or anything like that. Aren't they very bewildered and lost when they don't know what happens to them?
Well, no, quite frankly, strange as it may seem to you, children are never so lost as adults. My experience has been that the children are the least problem. The children are the ones who seem almost automatically to be able to enter into their new life full of, well, contentment and peace, you know. There's none of this sort of feelings you get with a lot of adults. I think with children, well, of course, they're always cared for. There are always people to care for them and love them and to help them. There's always many, many, many souls who are only too happy to take in the children, to look after the children. And there are schools and there are places where they can be guided and helped and instructed and brought up and comforted. In fact, I'd go as far as say the children are much happier in coming over than ever the adults are. But I think it is the adults bring over so many thoughts and ideas and preconceived notions and are so full of their own, well, you might say, I don't say importance, but full of their own inconsistencies, you might say. You know, they've got all strong sort of ideas about this, that, and the t'other. And often, of course, they come here and they've got a lot on their mind, a lot of regrets and lots of things they've done and said over the years, and the faults in their nature, you know, that they're very conscious of. Oh, no, I think the most problematic, difficult situation is for an adult. The children are no problem whatsoever. There's no unhappiness where the children are concerned, but you often find a lot of unhappiness with the adults.
Of course, if they do leave their parents behind, their parents, their mothers especially, can go over and sleep state.
Oh, yes, that's true enough. And the children are always well cared for, and they're soon put in, you know, made comfortable, and they soon acclimatise themselves to their new life. Believe me, they're as happy as was possible for anyone to be. I mean, they soon settle down and harmonise with everything, and they've got so many interests and so much to learn. And of course, if they want, they can be brought back temporarily to their people. But I think somehow about children, that, you know, it's marvellous, really, how soon they get used to new conditions and surroundings. Much worse for adults, you know, much worse. When is your Mr. Woods coming again?
He will come again, I hope. The next time we come up.
I'd like to have a letter to him. He sounds an awful lot. Well, I've been before to see you, but at these meetings when you've been here, I've stood aside and listened, you know. Perhaps next time he'll come up, maybe I'll have a word or two with him.
Yes, I'm sure he'd like it to.
Anyway, I can't say now, but all the very best to you, my dear.
Thank you.
And I'd like to come again and talk to you if I can.
Thank you for coming
all
through.
All the best. I must go.
Bye-bye. Thank you ever so much.
Bye-bye, Auntie.
Goodbye.
It was quite interesting, wasn't it?
Thank you ever so much.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, love.